Cooking for Health brings you nutritional information and tips, as well as cooking demonstrations and healthy recipes by local chefs. Cooking for Health is brought to you by First Choice Community Healthcare, Agricultura Network, and La Cosecha. Special thanks to Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Mexico for funding this project. Thank you for joining us, and check out the rest of our videos to see healthy recipes to share with family and friends.
Joining us again is Fallon Bader of the Sprouting Kitchen.
Hi there, my name is Fallon and I'm a registered dietitian and I own a cooking class business called the Sprouting Kitchen, and I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite summer recipes called salmorejo. It is a dish that comes from Spain and it uses wonderful late summer tomatoes, right? When we have so many tomatoes right now, they're abundant, so it's a great way to use up these tomatoes. And the theme is immune boosting foods, and tomatoes are really healthy. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But salmorejo is kind of like gazpacho, except it really, the only vegetable is tomatoes, and we make this soup really nice and creamy with our secret ingredient, which is bread. And it's a chilled soup, just like gazpacho. All right, let's get to it. So you're going to need a blender. In the blender body, I'm going to start chopping up my tomatoes. So a good way to get the core out of a tomato is to cut it right next to where that stem is. And then from there, what I like to do is, usually do this on the cutting board so I can show you, cut a V into the tomato and the core comes right out. Super easy. And then from there, whoa, we're just gonna cut some nice big wedges. Because it's going in a blender, we're really just kind of giving it a rough chop here, right? So I'm just gonna cut those V's into the tomato, cut some wedges, and everything just being thrown right into the blender. Okay, so let's talk about why tomatoes are an immune boosting food. So they are a good source of vitamin C, and vitamin C helps to keep our immune system nice and healthy. But another fun thing about tomatoes is that they have the antioxidant in them called lycopene. And lycopene is what gives tomatoes that really nice red color. And antioxidants in general is what gives different fruits and vegetables and whole grains all those different vibrant colors, right? So you might have heard the saying, eat the rainbow, and that's because the rainbow, all those different colors mean, you know, hundreds of different antioxidants. And these are really hard things to get in, say, like a supplement. So it's really important to get them from fresh foods that have a lot of colors. So tomatoes, right, really bursting with those red, orangey colors means it has lycopene in there. And antioxidants in general just help to keep a lot of the harmful things that we can't really avoid, like UV rays from the sun and pollution from water and air, and just aging. When we age, our cells kind of get, you know, a little bit weaker, to say. So those antioxidants help to really boost up our cells and our immune system. So really colorful fruits and vegetables are a great way to get a whole different variety of antioxidants. All right, so you can see this is 2 pounds of tomatoes. So this dish does make a fair amount of salmorejo. You could always cut it in half if you want to make a smaller amount. So we have our tomatoes in the blender. Now we're going to add our other ingredients. So we're going to need 1/3 of a cup of olive oil right on in the blender. We're going to need 1.5 tablespoons of either sherry vinegar, which is a really common vinegar in Spain. If you don't have sherry vinegar, you can use red wine vinegar. Then we're going to need just a pinch of salt, about 1/4 teaspoon. So let's see. I'm going to measure that out, which will just balance our flavors really nicely. The vinegar gives it and some nice acidity. Of course, the tomatoes also have acidity, so this is a nice puckery soup. If you don't love vinegar, you can always start with a little bit less. So good thing to maybe start with less, add more. And then 1 clove of garlic right on in. And then from here, we are going to blend our soup on high until it's nice and smooth. So about a minute or so. So we'll be right back. All right, so I just blended up our salmorejo, and it's very liquidy right now. It's almost like a really thin, very pourable texture. So to thicken this up, and I did taste it, and it tastes really good. I actually added another clove of garlic because I wanted the garlic flavor a little bit stronger. So go ahead and you can kind of see if it needs a little bit more, a little bit less of anything. Okay, here comes the secret. So now we're going to take about a small baguette, right? So you can see the size of my baguette here, pretty like small. And ideally you want to use bread that's a little bit stale. I just bought this from the store, so it was not stale, but what I did is I just popped it in the toaster to kind of toast it up, and now it's like nice and crispy. So you just want it to have a little bit of dryness to it because it'll soak up the salmorejo better. So I'm just kind of breaking it up a bit, and then we mix it all together with a spoon, and then you let it sit for about a half hour in the fridge. And what this is going to do is the bread is going to soak up all of that really delicious salmorejo mixture that we have so far, and it's going to soften up a bit, and then in 30 minutes we're going to blend it again, and it's going to have this just really nice creamy texture. I also think this soup is really good cold, so it's really great for like a hot day. Make this soup and it's really refreshing, and of course full of immune boosting properties. All right, so you're gonna make sure all of the bread is nice and submerged. Then this is gonna go in the fridge for 30 minutes, and then we'll blend it up one more time. Okay, so we've let this sit for 30 minutes in the fridge, and the bread will really kind of puff up in the salmorejo liquid here. So now I'm just going to put this back on the blender and blend it for another minute or so till it's nice and smooth. All right, so we've blended our soup, and the consistency now should be this nice thick texture. And now I'm just going to pour some in a bowl. And then I'm going to top it with a little bit of almonds for a little crunch. And just a little bit of olive oil. And go ahead and you should taste the salmorejo, see if it needs any more salt or vinegar. Traditionally, this is made with or topped with hard-boiled egg and prosciutto. But if you're not eating any sort of animal products, then almonds and olive oil make a really nice topping. See, I'll zoom in there, and it just looks so beautiful. So there you have it, this beautiful dish, so easy to make and a great way to use up all those nice summer tomatoes.